Congressman Lieu, how exactly does this rule change work?
Thank you, Stephanie, for your question. Let me first say Santa Monica is in my district, and I urge everyone to stay home this weekend. And if they go out, please wear a mask and do social distancing. Now, in terms of this rule change, I'm honored to introduce it with Congressman Joe Neguse and others. And we've seen unprecedented obstruction by the Trump administration to hide information from the American people. They're refusing to show up in hearings. They're refusing to provide documents. This rule's change will allow the House to impose an initial penalty of up to $25,000, up to a maximum of $100,000 monetary fine to get compliance from these witnesses.
Congressman Neguse, I don't disagree with anything Congressman Lieu just said, but here's the thing. You only control the House. Does this thing have a snowball's chance in you-know-where of getting anywhere in the Senate?
Well, it's great to be with you, Stephanie, and also with my great colleague, Ted. And the good news is it does not require the Senate's approval. This is a change to the rules of the House. And so ultimately, the House of Representatives can proceed in terms of reasserting its legitimate constitutional responsibility to conduct oversight and ultimately utilizing its inherent contempt power. It's also just important to clarify, this is not a new concept. While the Congress has not used the inherent contempt power since the better part of the 1930s, prior to that, it was used by the House of Representatives with some regularity. In fact, one of the last times that the Congress used the inherent contempt power was with another attorney general who was engaged in malfeasance and significant wrongful conduct, if you will, and that was during the Teapot Dome scandal of the 1920s. So at the end of the day, I think this is something that is eminently reasonable. This administration has shown, as Ted said, a complete disdain for congressional oversight powers, defiance of subpoena after subpoena, and it's important for Congress to reassert itself as the Article I branch under our Constitution.
Okay, maybe this is a dumb question then, Congressman Lieu. Why wouldn't you have done this sooner? This administration has been blowing their nose with subpoenas for the last 3 years.
That is a great question. So we won a lot of cases in the courts. We had unfortunately assumed the Trump administration would comply when those lower court rulings came down, but they kept appealing it and the court process was slow.
Can I just ask you, why would you make that assumption? Why would you think that the Trump administration would comply?
Because sometimes they did when a court ruling did come down. And we wanted to get good case law, but we finally decided enough was enough, especially when last month, Secretary of Defense and the Joint Chief of Staff chairman simply didn't show up to a request to Armed Services Committee to talk about why they're using active duty soldiers to clear out protesters and why they're arming them with bayonets.
Congressman Neguse, to most people, I would like to think to everyone, a $100,000 fine is a huge number. But you're talking about an administration with a billionaire president. Do you really think a $100,000 fine is going to stand in the way of them not providing information that they don't want to?
Well, it's a great question, Stephanie. I think it's a starting point. I think that the fines that are articulated in the initial proposal that we've outlined are certainly robust. They are stronger than any fines that have been imposed in the past by the House of Representatives when it has used or utilized the inherent contempt power. Of course, there are other potential tools at the disposal of Congress, including detention, which was the case years ago, as I said, when the Congress exercised this power in the 18th century and the 19th century. Obviously, this proposal does not call for that. But I think, again, our goal here is to reassert the inherent contempt power, build consensus within the Congress for doing so, and then go from there. And my hope is that this administration, or any administration for that matter, because this is not a particularly partisan issue, this administration has chosen to ignore Congress. But the truth is that the Congress needs to be prepared to exercise its oversight responsibilities regardless of who may be in the executive branch. And this power applies irrespective of who's in the White House. So I think it's an important step that everybody could potentially get behind. And then, I suspect we'll be having the same debate over that particular question that you've just posed with our colleagues as well.
All right, Congressman Lieu, let's say you get this thing done. Who is the number one official that has defied a subpoena that you want to hear from?
It would be Bill Barr. Now, Bill Barr has agreed to come at the end of this month. I also know that last year he backed out with a flimsy excuse at the last minute. So if we had this in place, it would actually be an incentive for him to not back out and to actually show up before a oversight hearing of the House Judiciary Committee.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.